So today I'm showing you what I'm doing to pot these. I have the Jiffy Natural and Organic Seed Starting Mix, and all you have to do is pretty much just follow the instructions that are on the back of the bag here. It's pretty simple to do. I already filled 2 of my cups. As you can see, these are my Ashley cucumbers. So as you can see, I've got a couple cups that are already done. So I saved my last one to show you what I did. So just follow the directions and you'll get a consistency, you know, it's not soft and wet, you know, it'll come apart. It's still loose, but it'll clump. You'll know it because it'll clump up a little bit like that, but as the roots go down, it'll just break it apart. And it's very nice and loose and light, and is great, just absolutely great for seeds. I used it a little bit last year, and used it this year on all my cups. So you just after you mix it, you just put it down in your cup like that, and there's a stick there. It's like a little twig or something that was in there, so I was trying to remove it. But it doesn't matter. So anyway, just put it in there like that. And I'm going to show you why I like the paper towel method so much. So as you can see, if the lighting was better, I'm trying to pull this up here. As you can see, you can tell which ones didn't germinate. Let me try to get my camera to zoom. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, you can tell a lot of these didn't germinate, and of course not. It's only been, you know, a couple of days. So as you can see, this one germinated. So that's why I like using the paper towel method so much, because then you're only potting the seeds that you know were actually viable. So you just put your hole. I just poked a hole about half the length of a fingernail. Just drop it in there and lightly cover it up. No need to press down. And put a Ziploc bag on it like that, and a rubber band around it to keep it on there. And that gives you a nice dome, you know, greenhouse like what you see on the seed starting trays. And a lot of people will say don't do that because you can get fungus from the increase of humidity, because this isn't breathing. So you'll get, you know, fungus or even dampening off, you know, on your plants. Well, with the paper towel method, because you've significantly reduced the amount of time that the seeds would be covered this way by germinating like this, in about 2 days, 2-3 days, that little seed will have already put out a leaf, will have already put off its little starter leaves, and then you can just take the bag off and it's like this. So it's not even in the dome long enough to really get that fungus buildup. So which greatly reduces the, you know, the risk of dampening off or white fungus, things like that. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. That's how I started my seeds this year. That's how I started it last year. That's how I'm always do it. It's just quick, it's simple. I know what germinated, so I'm only potting the actual viable germinated seeds. And I threw so many down in here. As you can see, some of them are even brownish, and some of that is just due from the staining of the potting soil, because I was handling this before. But some of them were actually just not viable to begin with. You know, they were brown. I just threw a bunch in there. There was another half of this paper towel that was covered in them too, so there's probably about 20-30 seeds. And I pulled out the 5 best ones that germinated. There's 2 in each one of these, and then there's 1 in here. So anyway, that's what I do every year. Well, this year and last year. So I'm going to be doing that every year. So anyway, let me show you what I've got going on outside, and how I'm making my compost tea. And we're going to see how that goes this year. Last year I used a chemical fertilizer. I used Osmocote at the beginning, and then I started using I forgot the name of the brand, but it's a really cheap brand that you can buy at Walmart. It's a little square box like that, about that big, and it's like $4 for the box. And that's how I fertilized my plants last year. This year I'm gonna try to strictly limit it to compost tea because of the amount of microbes that are in it. So I'll talk about that when I start making the that clip. So let me get to that. Thank you for watching this. If you have any questions about this, feel free to leave a comment and I'll answer it as best as I can. So let me show you what I have going on outside. All right, so now this is what I'm doing to make compost tea. Any compost and manure, this is what I grabbed. This is the cheapest stuff. I put in about 6 huge handfuls, like one hand. If it was just one hand, about 6 huge handfuls, per 5-gallon bucket, and then you just fill it with water and let it seep. That is, or steep. That is all I have done. You can put you can put this inside like a pillowcase or something like that, and then just have the pillowcase draped over the side. So after it's steeped, you can just pull the pillowcase out, and you don't have all the the shavings and stuff still on the top like this. But I didn't really care, so me personally, I just left it there. But I made a 30-gallon bucket of this stuff. So I use it on everything outside, and I'm gonna be giving it away. So it's really easy for me to make, and it's really great stuff. If you do research on it, you'll see for yourself. So I take any container, but this is what I got. I just set it down in there. I just suck it up. And because it's, I don't want to say it's really cold out, but because it's a little chilly, see, and that's what it looks like. So I'll run it through like a little strainer or something like that to get the bigger chunks of, the compost tea out of there, and that's about it. Oh, but yeah, because it's a little bit cold out, what I do is I just let this sit inside for a while, and just let it get to room temperature, which in my house is like 70 degrees. And then I'll water the plants and I'll pour it into the bottom of the reservoir. So that is what I am doing to fertilize this year. So this bag right here from Walmart was $1.50, and one full bag of this makes 30 gallons. So you're going to be watering your plants with this stuff, and it's really cheap to do, and this is a great way of giving an immediate nitrogen boost to your plants, because everything that's in here is water soluble, so it just breaks down and immediately can be soaked up by the roots, and all the microbes and organisms and stuff that are in this is just great for the soil, or great for the plant, and it just really helps it to grow real green. And there's a lot of research that states that it helps to reduce a lot of diseases just by using compost tea. A lot of people say that it can really help reduce blight on potatoes or tomatoes, and stuff like that. So I suggest you give it a try. I'm giving it a try this year. This is not what I did last year, so I am new to this, but I've watched a lot of videos on it. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and I've just read a lot of research on it, and it is hands down considered to be the best way to fertilize. a nickname that they call this when it's broken down and steeped or brewed or whatever you want to call it, you know, as compost tea. A nickname they have for it is liquid gold, and there's supposedly a reason for that, because this is like the absolute best way to feed your plants the things that it needs. So I suggest give it a try. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. There are several different ways of making this. This is called the steeped method, where it's like you're making a cup of tea, you know, a little tea bag. It's the same concept, but there's others out there where you use an aerator and you add, you know, syrup to it, because the sugar reacts and all this other stuff happens. And so I'm not doing that. I'm not going to say I'm never going to do it, but that's not what I'm doing this time. So this is called the steep method. It is still considered to be a great method to do, so I'm giving it a go. So anyway, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. All right, now I'm going to show you what I'm doing to feed my plants. As you can see, I have a different setup than last year. I do actually like this better. It's more accessible, way more lighting. I have about $90 between all these lamps and just the bulbs, so it is a lot cheaper than going out and spending like $200 on some kind of high-speed plant system. So I just kind of added to this over time. And the thing I like about these is, you know, when I'm not planting up here, I can use these shop lights for something else. So I had to close the window up here, close the blinds, because it gets insanely hot in this room because of those lights. So anyway, so I just want to show you that real quick. And then so in my last clip just before this one, I showed you how I made my compost tea. So I have my compost tea, and then this is how I'm feeding my plants. As you can see, there's a nice root system on the bottom, and so I'll just set this down gently so I don't damage the roots, because I'm doing this all one-handed. And as you can see, there's nothing in there, so I'm going to just pour a little bit down in there. Just enough to where when I set this down, you'll see it. It'll hit and kind of float, but then it will soak up and sink down. And that is how I'm feeding my plants. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. Decided last second I was going to show you how I was going to go ahead and feed them. I'm going to try not to have too many videos this year like I did last year. I'm going to have updates, but instead of being every 2 weeks, it's probably going to be like every 3 or 4 weeks or something. You know, growing plants isn't very exciting, so there's not too much progress, you know, from week to week. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. As you can see, it's already soaked it up a little bit, as you can see from the bottom. And because it's also important that you keep the soil moist. So if you put you know, about the length of the crease of your index finger and fill about that much in there, it'll get soaked up into the soil, and so your soil will stay moist down here but dry up here, and that helps reduce gnats and bugs and stuff. So, and just make sure that you let your soil completely dry out, at least for peppers. Okay, so for peppers, let your soil completely dry out before you water. Your peppers need to be stressed out a little bit, because that's what they're used to in you know, their native environment. You know, they're not used to getting water every single day. They're not used to having wet soil every single day. You know, they're from the drier regions of the world. So anyway, this is the yellow monster. As you can see, it looks great. Look at that. Look how green those leaves. Let's see if I can get my camera to clear up a little bit. Look how green and beautiful that is. Every single one of these plants are like that, which is different from last year. Last year they looked great too, but this year, just doing the compost tea, you know, me personally, I can see a difference. I can really see a difference. So it's just, it's like this on every single plant, except for the 7-pot orange yellow. There we go. The 7-pot orange yellow. It looks right here, looks light green, and that is not from a lack of nitrogen. That's just how that plant grows. So that's not me, and that is not the nutrition. But just look at that. Look at how green they all are, and that's from the compost tea. So I definitely see a difference from last year. So anyway, I'll see you guys in a few weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks, when I do my third update on my pepper plants, and I'll show you how these are doing. So that is how I'm potting them, that is how I'm feeding them, or that is how I'm making the fertilizer to feed them, and that is how I'm feeding them. So just wanted to show you that. Hopefully that's useful to some of you. If you have any comments or questions, again, please leave them below. Thank you for watching.